welcome to Scott's Inverts. I'm Scott, these are the inverts, and if you're new, please hit that subscribe button, give me a like, comment down below. So we are going into more and more of our bioactive setups. So for us, especially with the damper enclosures as well, so not just bioactive, things like the Psalmopoeus and Myrnia, other spiders and other reptiles that require high humidity, moss is an absolute key. So this is the tank and the setup that I've made for the moss. Hopefully it's going to grow. We're going to discover that over the next sort of 3 to 6 months in here. So there's about 3 inches of substrate. Now that substrate is a mix of Wix's topsoil in with Levingtons. I'd say 75% Levingtons to 25% Wix's. So it's full of nitrates. Nitrates are important for moss growth as well as a little bit of lactic acid. So the water that we also use in here, I actually get ours out of our fish tank. So instead of just removing the water on a water change and throwing it away, I put it into my spray bottle, put it in with the moss, because that water from a fish tank is quite high in nitrates. If you haven't got access to a fish tank, your soil will provide nitrates if it's a compost based soil, so I'm just boosting to it. Now another thing moss does benefit from is a thing called lactic acid. So as well as the water that goes in the spray bottle, we also put 2 teaspoons, so they're the small spoons of powdered milk that contains lactic acid, and we spray down the whole of that enclosure. It's really important to keep it between damp and waterlogged. So the whole of this substrate needs to be absolutely drenched, because the moss absolutely love it when it's absolutely wet. So if I bring it over, I'm going to show you what we've put in here, what our expectations are, including the lighting system. We've also put springtails in there. If you're in the UK and you want springtails and you want the same lighting system that we're using, I'll put a link down in description for livefoodsforyou.co.uk. Use the code scottsinverts, gets you a discount while you're there. But it's also important to know that this is a Jungle Dawn LED bar, 15 watts that we're using. If we turn it like that, if we have it like that, that is a lot of light going onto that moss. Moss doesn't enjoy full sunlight. So what I'm trying to do is recreate the bottom of a forest floor where I found it, where it grows. And we're going to turn it on its side like that. Now all the wood in there is all oak. It's really important that you use oak. Oak is phenomenal for moss growth. So come on over, we'll show you what we've got going on. So this is the setup for all the moss. Let me just show you. This is the Jungle Dawn LED light bar, which is absolutely awesome. But if I turn it that way, it gives a lot of light at the front, not much at the back. But this light here is far too much for the moss. So what I'm going to do is just turn it on its side, and then that seems to do it completely well. So there's all the moss. We've got the oak here. This is a dead piece of ivy, but it's got the moss growing on it. So that's gone in. We've got more oak up the back. This is all oak bark, and we took it from a fallen tree. At the front here, we've got pieces of bare oak, just like that. So what I'm hoping for is to see moss growth on there in the next sort of 3 to 6 months as well. That is the setup. But then also, if we take a look right deep down into the moss, those little brown bits it's starting to flower. So we've got to be doing something right in there. But I absolutely love the look of moss, I do. I think it looks absolutely excellent. So this tank itself, I think, looks really, really nice. Like I said, we do need to keep it really, really damp in here. So that soil, like I said, has got to be between being waterlogged and being damp. There's a load of springtails also gone in there. The springtails just help decompose all this compost that we've got underneath. So it makes all the nutrients readily available for the moss. So fingers crossed we get it growing. A lot of it is actually on the oak. just like that. So hopefully it will grow some more and we can put it into the tanks, as well as I am thinking about putting some isopods in here as well. I did toy with the idea of putting a tailless whip in, because I think a tailless whips would look quite cool going up and down there as well, and they'd also appreciate that high humidity. But if you grow moss, let me know down in the comments. And like I said, if you want to get the same light that we've got, which is the Jungle Dawn, and if you want a discount on your springtails as well, pop over to livefoodsforyou.co.uk, use the code scottsinverts. That will get you a cheeky little discount. Just here, that's actually a clump of oak wood that we managed to scavenge. But like I said, in the UK, it is really important that you get the landowner's permission, because if they want to be funny, you can get prosecuted for trespassing and stealing property. Just look at this moss, absolutely awesome. So everybody, that is the moss growing that we're trying to do here at Scott's Inverts. Let me know if you also grow your own moss, if you do it differently. I have seen some people where they've got the clay balls and they keep the clay balls absolutely drenched, and then they just put a bond between the clay balls and the soil, and that's how they do it. I'm doing it this way. Like I said, over the next 3 to 6 months, it's going to show whether it works or not. I think it will. I've looked at, like I said, I've looked at all the factors, so fingers crossed it all goes ahead. I might actually also put some UK millipedes in there, just because I fancy getting a bit of movement in there. I might put some UK spiders in there as well as. But if I do that, it's going to be really important that when we take the moss out for an enclosure, to make sure nothing like that's on there. So you do have to bear that in mind. All this oak bark has come from a fallen tree. This is nothing in here is from a living tree. And like I said, it's really important that we leave more moss than what we actually take. So if there's an area of moss, don't take it all, because you know it's going to take years and years and years to grow back again. Just take a small amount from each little location that you go to, like we've done, and then you can do something like this yourself. If you've already got some moss like this growing in yours, let me know down in the comments and let me know how you do it. I'll be really, really interested, because if you've got success in growing moss and it's a different setup, then I could run another setup next to this one and we can see which one works the best. But yeah, it does look really, really cool in there. I am so tempted just to go, do you know what, I'm going to put an invert in there and that's going to be it, and close the door. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, we shall see you again on the next one.